Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is just going to be going through my entire physical TBR cart. Disclaimer, this isn't all of the unread books I own. Any like sequels or continuations of series are in a different area. Partly because I needed more room on the shelf and partly because I wanted this cart to just be something I could take a book off here and just start reading it. And obviously if it's a sequel to a book I haven't read yet, can't do that. So I'm just going to start top to bottom, go through everything. If I know what the book's about, I'll give you a brief summary. Please let me know your thoughts and opinions, and let me know if there's any of these you're dying to see me read, because I'll probably put those up more on the priority list. Also, I've been planning on reorganizing this, so I figure let's just go through a tour of it and get all the books off so I can organize everything. Starting up on the top shelf, first up, I just have my prompt jar with all my prompts in it. First book is Leave Me Behind by K.M. Morinova. This is the Probably Smut book club edition, which is gorgeous. This is like a dark romance, maybe a revenge plot. I'm pretty sure it's true enemies to lovers. I really liked Fabric of Our Souls by K.M. Morinova, so I have high hopes for this one. Next up is Deep End by Allie Hazelwood. Again, another Probably Smut book club edition. Also on the back here is like what she wanted the original title to be, which is Wet, which I think is kind of funny. I'm not really a romance reader, but I figured I'd take a risk and try this one, which I'm almost kind of regretting because most of the reviews I've seen of this book aren't great, so I'm a little hesitant to read this, but if you thought differently, please let me know. Maybe because typical romance readers didn't like it, maybe I'll like it, but I'll give it a shot either way. Then we have the reappearance of Rachel Price. If you watched my March reading wrap up, you'll see that I absolutely hated As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. But I really loved the first two books in that trilogy, so I have hopes for this one. I remember when this came out, like this was like super highly anticipated, and then I didn't really hear much about it after that. So again, love to know your thoughts. And then we have Kingdom of the Cursed by Carrie Maniscalco. This is the sequel to Kingdom of the Wicked. This one, I've heard, this starts out YA, like the first book's definitely more YA, but I've heard it kind of gets more into like adult territory towards the end of the trilogy. And then there's also the Throne of the Fallen and Throne of Secrets spin-offs, and those I really want to read, so I'm definitely going to get through this trilogy. I did like the first book. I think I gave it like 3.75 stars, so I'm interested to continue, kind of follow like a witch, and then there's demons and stuff, so it's pretty interesting. Then I have this special edition of Her Soul to Take by Harley LaRue. It's got gorgeous edges, a little quote on the back. This came as a set for the whole trilogy, which I got, I want to say it was Faded Romance was the company I got these from. But this is a dark romance about involving a demon. So sounds right up my alley. And then this one's actually a book from a friend that they let me borrow. She's like, no rush to give it back to me. She liked it, but it wasn't like a super, you have to read this book, but she said it was a pretty easy read. Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Kavanaugh. So sometimes it's just a good palate cleansing book in between more in-depth reads. And then again, another Probably Smut book club edition of A Dawn of Onyx by Kate Golden. This is a romantasy. I'm pretty sure there's dragons in this one, so super excited about that. I have the whole trilogy because they released these all in the same kind of style, and I needed them to match. So hopefully I like this one, so I will read the other ones. We have Foxy Tales by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti, the Twisted Sisters. This is just a lot of bonus content, well, not a lot, but a bonus content for Zodiac Academy, which I love. That is one of my 5-star series that I recommend to almost everyone. It is a lot, but it's just so fun. It is emotionally gut-wrenching at times, and I love it. So definitely highly recommend if you haven't read it. This is like the only book in that series that I haven't read. I still have to read their other series set in that universe. So like Ruthless Boys, Darkmoor, and now they have Neverkeep out, which is their newest one. So I do plan on getting through all those too, but again, Zodiac Academy, fantastic. And then we have Monarch by Sophie Lark. This is a sequel to Grimstone, which is on my TBR for this month. The other books I've read by Sophie Lark are just The Sinner's Duet, but I flew through those books. So her reading's just pretty bingeable. It's usually more dark romance centered. So definitely dark themes, but also the edges are so pretty. Then we have The Blood is Love by Karina Hall. I'm kind of iffy if I'm going to keep this. This is a sequel to Black Sunshine, which is like a, again, dark vampire romance, which I like that book. I read that years ago though, so I don't really remember much about it. And I don't know if I'm invested enough to read this book. If any of you have read it, if you think it's worth it, let me know, because I'm kind of on the fence if I want to keep that or not. And then I just have a regular copy of Her Soul to Take, which is probably just going to get shelved because I don't need two of the same book on here, which is why I need to reorganize this. We have God of Malice by Rena Kent. This is the Legacy of God series. This is the first book and the only book that I have. I got this before they released the like traditionally published ones. But again, this is another dark romance, super spicy. Sounds fantastic. Then we have The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. This is a romantasy. I have heard good things about this, and then these are the traditionally published editions. I have this one and the sequel. I can't remember the name of it. Just the two right now because I want to make sure I like them before I buy any more because I'm trying to be better about that. But I really liked A Fate Inked in Blood by her, which is another like romantasy that she wrote that had Norse mythology in it, and I love Norse mythology, so... And I did like her writing style too, so I'm hoping I'll like this one as well. We have House of Beating Wings by Olivia Wildstein. Honestly, the edges are what sold me, but also I did read the back when I bought it and it sounded really good. Another fantasy romance. I don't really remember much since I read the back of it because it was a while ago that I bought this, but this one sounded pretty interesting. I did buy the sequel to this one too when it came out, so again, I'm trying to be better, but I'm not perfect. We have Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I feel like almost everyone's read this book by now. I'm behind on a lot of popular books. My best friend absolutely loves this series. I know some people aren't a huge fan of this series, so we'll just see what I think. I know it's YA fantasy, it's got fae in it, but like, you know, traditional ruthless fae, so I think I would like it. We have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. I think I said that right. This one just sounds super interesting. I do have the sequel, The Map of the Otherlands. I was good, and I haven't picked up the third one yet because I need to make sure I like this before I buy any more in this series. Again, trying to be better. And then an example of where I'm no good. I have The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. Everybody loves this duology. I have both of these books. I have the novella, and I have the other book in the other duet that's interconnected to this. So yeah, I'm not perfect. But again, this is like vampires, games and trials, I think. Again, sounds super up my alley. I know a lot of people love Carissa Broadbent. My best friend, honestly, not the biggest fan of this one or her in general, but I think I'll like it. So I've heard a lot of good things about that one. So one shelf done, 2 to go. Shelf number 2, Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden. I've read all the other Housemaid books. I really enjoyed pretty much all of them. I've heard not great things about this one, so I'm gonna get to it at some point. I usually binge her books anyway. They're usually like a couple days and I'm done them. So a little hesitant, but still excited to kind of finish that one out. We have Shallow River by H.D. Carlton. I love H.D. Carlton, Cat and Mouse Duet, that whole universe. I've read all those books. I read Does It Hurt, which was an interesting one. So I saw this was more traditionally published, so I picked this one up because I need everything she writes. We have The Dismemberer's Handbook by Kimberly Love, because this just sounds fun. Pretty sure it's a horror book by the title. Yeah, sounds disturbing. Super duper fun. We have The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum. Kind of the opposite of fun. This is based on a true story of this girl who, I think she was kidnapped and then held in the basement, and her kidnappers involved a lot of kids in the neighborhood in her torture. So not a light read. Very fascinating though, so if you're interested in true crime, I'm sure this would be good for you. If you're not, stay far away from this because it's all inspired by true events. I'm not sure how closely it is to the case, but I've heard the case before, and I'm just kind of interested in reading it in like a novel setting. This one is a book that my mother-in-law loaned to me and wants me to read, called The Alice Network by Kate Quinn. This one, we'll see. It's kind of like a historical fiction, I believe. I don't think there's any romance. I don't really know a ton about it, but I know it's like more historical, which can be very iffy for me. Sometimes I love it, and other times I'm so bored. So we'll see. I'm hesitant. It's not top priority on my TBR. She's not in any rush to have it back, so it's probably going to sit here for a bit. Then we have Killers of a Certain Age. I never took the sticker off, from Barnes & Noble by Deanna Raybourn. This one just sounded funny. This is like older women who end up killing people, and I think there's a sequel out now too, so this just kind of sounded fun. I'm pretty sure it's kind of like a horror comedy, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Again, it's been a while since I've read some of the blurbs of these. We have The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Again, I've been good on this front. I don't own any of the other books in the series, but I have a feeling I'm going to love this. I know a lot of people love this. It's like YA Criminal Minds, which again, love that kind of stuff. So super excited to start this. I'm interested to see if I like her writing style or not, because I know she has the Inheritance Games series, which I'm super on the fence about. My best friend kind of likes some, was kind of meh on the others, so I'm not super sold on that one. But this series sounds really good to me. We have Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. I love Alice Feeney. I've only read Rock, Paper, Scissors by her, but oh my god, that book was wild, and I loved it. So Daisy Darker, I'm pretty sure I got this off of Book Outlet for like $5. So I've been wanting to read more of her stuff after I read Rock, Paper, Scissors. If you haven't read that, absolutely read that, and then let me know any of your other favorite Alice Feeney books. Also, I did pick up Beautiful Ugly by her as well, because again, I love her. She's great. I need more of her. We have The Couple Next Door by Sherry Lapina? Not sure. This one I think is a mystery thriller. Audible just had like a 2-for-1 credit sale, and this was on there, and I needed another book for the 2-for-1 part, so I added this on there. So I might just end up listening to this one. I've had this book on my TBR cart forever, like probably over 5 years, so it seems like it should be a quick read. I should get it read, hopefully soon. We have Survive the Night by Riley Sager. Riley Sager I generally like. Some books are kind of fall flat for me, so I'm pretty sure my best friend got me this one because she really liked this one, so I have higher hopes for this one. Also have Final Girls by Riley Sager, which this one I've heard good things about. Excited about this one. And The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. This one I'm not sure what the opinions out in the book space are, but again, mostly good. Some books have been meh. Like, I've liked them, but they haven't. There's definitely some are better than others. Lucy Foley, The Guest List. I read The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. Can't tell you a thing about it, but I remember when I was reading it, I enjoyed it. It was very twisty and convoluted, and I think that's why I don't really remember anything. But I had a fun time, so that's why I picked this one up, to see if I like her writing or if it was just that one book that I liked. We have Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. I've heard good things about this one. I think this one's kind of a dark romance. Again, I kind of just bought this because I've heard people like this and I can't really remember what it's about, so we'll see. We have Scarred by Emily McIntyre. This is the second book in the Never After series, which are all interconnected standalones of like dark retellings of like Disney stories. So the first one was Hooked, which was obviously Peter Pan retelling where Hook is the love interest. Honestly, I wasn't much of a fan of that one, mainly because it was kind of like miscommunication trope, and I hate it. Like, so much could have just been avoided if you asked her one question. I've heard Scarred is way better, so we'll give this one a shot. If I don't like this, I'm probably going to DNF the series, so we'll see about that. We have Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. Again, mixed things about this. I feel like a lot of people don't like the first 1 to 2 books in the series, but love the later books. So I'm going to give this a shot. We'll see. If I'm not feeling it, I probably won't buy any of the others. Also, the covers have changed since I bought this, so that's giving me a little bit of hesitation too. I know I could just find these online and buy these covers, but they're probably super marked up by now. We have God Killer by Hannah Connor. This is another fantasy. I'm not sure if it's romance as well, but just sounded interesting. Seems like a quick read. I'm pretty sure there's a couple other books out in this series now, but I've been good and I haven't bought them until I read this one. We also have Five Survive by Holly Jackson. Again, I do enjoy her. It was just the one book I hated, so we'll see how I like this one as well. We have True Crime Story by Joseph Knox. Actually don't think this is a legit true crime story. I'm pretty sure that's just the title of the book. But again, I'm pretty sure it's like a girl who goes missing, or someone goes missing, and just kind of investigation into that case. So kind of horror, mystery, thriller kind of thing. We have Guild by Raven Kennedy. This one, King Midas retelling. Again, mixed reviews I've heard. I see some people love the series and other people meh. I do own Glint as well, but I think I only have that one other than this one. So again, pretty good. Didn't buy the whole series. Could do better. But I'm really hoping I enjoy that one. And then the last book on shelf number 2 is What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall. This is another kind of horror mystery thriller book that I think my husband got for me for some occasion at some point. So shelf 2 done. On to the last shelf. I guess we'll start from over here. They're kind of harder to get off the last shelf or whatever. I think maybe I just stupidly put taller books on that shelf. We have Green and Light by Jessie Hall. Dark romance. This is a probably smut edition as well. I've heard pretty decent things about this book. Larry, who I love, hated this book, but I know a lot of other booktubers I watched did like this book. So usually Larry's taste kind of aligns with my book taste, but not always, because she did love As Good as Dead and I hated it. So I still have high hopes for this book. It's pretty thick though, so yeah, we'll get to it. This one's kind of embarrassing that I've never read the series, but I really want to. I'm probably just going to read the base series and none of the spin-offs. But my best friend bought the special edition of the series, so she gave me her regular editions, and that is Percy Jackson. Yeah, somehow I went this far in my life without reading this. I know people adore this series, part of their childhood, and it's Greek mythology inspired, and I love anything Greek mythology inspired, so I'm pretty sure it'll be a quick read too, because it's all YA. I think there's 5 books in the original series. I know there's a ton of spin-offs. So if there's any of those, if I like this and there's any of the spin-offs that you think are an absolute must to read, let me know, because I'd love to know. But there's that. We have Night of the Witch by Sarah Rosh and Beth Rebus. I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong. These edges were gorgeous. This is just like a witchy YA fantasy. I think there's a second book out. Have not bought it because I'm being better, so that's good. We have Queen of Myth and Monsters by Scarlett St. Clair. This is the sequel to King of Babylon Blood. I'm pretty sure this is just a duet. I really enjoyed the Touch of Darkness, Hades, and Persephone series by her. I did like the first book in this duology. Again, it's been a while since I read it, so I might have to look up spoiler summary before I jump back into this one, but that one's on there too. We have Year One by Nora Roberts, which is Chronicles of the One series, book 1. My mom's been bugging me to read this for the longest time, and it's sat on this cart for so long. So if any of you read this and you enjoyed it, let me know. Whenever I do get to it, she'll be so happy. We have Secrets Never Die by Vincent Ralph. This one, mystery thriller. I think it's YA, not really sure. Pretty sure I bought this because I went to Barnes one time, and if you bought a copy, you got this book for like $5. So I did. Again, trying to be better, rein in my book buying. I've been better, I promise. We also have You'd Look Better as a Ghost by Joanne Wallace. Again, another kind of mystery thriller, serial killer vibes. So sounds super fun. We have The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien, because I love Lord of the Rings. I've read The Hobbit. I actually listened to the audio version because it's narrated by Andy Serkis, which was fantastic. So I do have the physicals. I might just continue the audio journey though, because Andy Serkis's narration is top tier, because the voices he does, it's like watching the movies again, basically, just with way more detail. So I'm gonna get to that eventually. I'm in no rush to read that, but it's something I've just wanted to read, so I can say I have. We have Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Shea Earnshaw. This is just, I've fucking loved Nightmare Before Christmas, so anything pretty much inspired by that, I'm gonna read this. I've wanted to read this during like Halloween spooky season, and every time that rolls around I kind of forget about it, so maybe this year will be the year. Then we have Heartless Hunter by Kristen, oh god, Ciccarelli? That might be wrong. This one is like a witch and a witch hunter enemies to lovers romance. It's a duet. The second book just came out not long ago. I think Rebel Witch is the name of it. And I've heard a lot of great things about this, so I kind of picked this up, I think when I bought Shallow River, because there was a sale, buy one get one kind of sale, and I needed a second book, and this was part of the sale. So we have that one. We have the last one by Rachel Housel Hall. This one is just gorgeous. My husband bought this for me for Christmas because one day I saw it in Target and I said, oh my god, this is beautiful. It has like a death moth on the inside, which I have a tattoo of death moth. The bear hardback, also gorgeous. So this was mainly bought on It's Beautiful, and I really hope that the story's really good too, or I'm gonna be so sad. But this is another like fantasy, I'm pretty sure also fantasy romance, because hello, that's the majority of what I read, that and dark romance. Something that's more out of my comfort zone is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I've heard amazing things about the series, but it is sci-fi, and I'm not a huge sci-fi reader, so it sounds interesting enough. I think I might enjoy it, but again, I've only picked up the first book because I'm not sure. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I've heard, again, people mostly love this, but if you're not really into sci-fi, I think a lot of people who aren't don't really enjoy this. So we'll see. I'm willing to give anything a chance. Classic. We have The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty, horror novel. Everybody knows The Exorcist. This is just the novel. So excited to read that. My friend got that for me forever ago, and I just haven't picked it up. Another one, Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. We all know the Netflix series. This is just the book that was adapted from. I've heard it's pretty different, like most things are, so I'm intrigued to see what that's about. We're so close to the end. We have How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. I feel like Grady Hendrix is kind of a polarizing author. I feel like a lot of people don't particularly like his works. I generally do. I really liked the Final Girl support group. I loved My Best Friend's Exorcism. I thought it was hilarious. I really liked Horror Store too. The only reason I don't still have that book is because the way it is, it just doesn't look nice on my shelves, which sounds really stupid. So this one sounded pretty interesting. There are some swings and misses with Grady, but generally I enjoy his writing. And then we have 19 Claws and a Blackbird by Agustina Bastarrica. This is the author of Tender is the Flesh, which is a very popular horror novel. I'm pretty sure this is all short stories though. Which short story? Yeah, it is. Short stories, I find I end up liking probably about maybe 50% of them, and then the other 50% are like kind of meh. So I don't tend to rate anthology collections very high, just because I feel like for every good one, there's a not so good one. So I did really enjoy her writing. I flew through Tender is the Flesh. Like, that book was just so fascinating and disturbing. So I really hope that this kind of gives that vibe as well. Hey, look, another probably smut edition. This is Icebound by Meredith Trapp. This is a hockey romance, and again, I am not much of a romance reader, but I try to read outside of my comfort zone every now and then, so I ended up picking this book up as well. I've had this for months and I haven't touched it yet. It's not really the hockey romance season anyway, so this will probably wait until more next winter, so, which I'm not too sad about. Next up is probably the book that has been on my TBR for the longest, because I'm pretty sure, we bought this when it came out. This is Aragon by Christopher Paolini. I think I said that right. Again, I feel like everyone knows the series, but my mom read this, like, I have the whole series. I didn't buy it. My mom bought it and then gave it to me, and I still haven't touched it. So this is like the #1 book that she's been dying for me to read. There's 4 books in this series, and then he just came out with Murtaugh too, which I did buy because it was on Book Outlet for like $5 or $7, so I needed it. But it's dragons, it's fantasy. I don't see any reason I won't like it. I just haven't had the motivation to pick it up. But this thing's been old. It's been through it. I'm pretty sure we bought it from Borders. That's how old this thing is. But I will get to it eventually, I promise. Oh, another out of my comfort zone book. Oh, there's a mark on the cover. This is Crossroads by Devney Perry. Cowboy romance. Again, not super into romance, but every now and then I like to try it and see if there's a different one that might do it for me. So this is probably Smut edition. It's really nice and pretty, except now I have a mark on it, but whatever. And then the last 4 books are all just Fear Street, different books by R.L. Stine. A lot of these are like a couple books in one, like either 2, I think 2 in 1. I don't think any of these are 3 in 1. Maybe, yeah, this one's 3 in 1. And these are just fun. Like, I was a Goosebumps kid. Fear Street's the more like YA teenage version. So these are just fun if I want something quick to read, kind of a spooky series. I love the Netflix series, and they're supposed to be coming out with more, I think, on Netflix. So I'm super excited for that. I think I've only read one of these, which the ones that have multiple books in one, I'll just read the one book and then save the other ones for later. So that's all these books, which again, fun, quick reads if you just want something kind of spooky. But yeah, that's pretty much everything on my physical TBR cart. Again, if there's anything you are dying to see me read, or any opinions you have of any of these books you think I should know about, let me know. And that's gonna be it for this week's video. I will catch you guys later. All right, bye. And here is my cart now that I've kind of reorganized it. So top shelf is kind of what I consider my kind of higher priority reads, slash some might have just fit better here. I still have my jar up there. The second shelf is more like medium priority for the most part. Like, I'm not dying to read them, but they're higher up on my radar. Alice Feeney books are here. The Riley Sager books are back there. Bottom shelf is kind of my lowest priority, like want to read them, or maybe not the most excited to read them. So I have like the Fear Street books on here because those are kind of just when I want something quick and fun. I put pretty much all the just romance books down here, and then a couple other books that I want to read at some point, but I'm not really dying to read them. So that's pretty much everything. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Also, can someone tell me how taking just one book off this cart made this have so much more room? I probably was just terrible at organizing them, but I feel like I have way more space than I did before. Crazy.